Your day is a whirlwind. You rush from one task to the next, checking emails, meeting deadlines, answering calls, keeping up with the endless demands of life. The clock ticks relentlessly, urging you to move faster, do more, be more. You tell yourself you'll find peace when things slow down, when the to-do list shrinks, when you finally have time. But life doesn't pause. It keeps moving, and so do you. Yet in the midst of this chaos, there are moments, fleeting and small, where time seems to open up. A 5-minute wait for the bus, a quiet moment while the kettle boils, a pause before you answer a question. These gaps of time, these tiny pockets of stillness, are not wasted. They are gifts, waiting for you to claim them, filled with the power to change your day, your heart, your life. Picture this morning. You're standing at a crosswalk, waiting for the light to change. The world moves around you, cars speeding by, people hurrying past. Your mind races with the tasks ahead, the emails you haven't answered, the plans you need to make. But for just a moment, you stop. You notice the way the sunlight filters through the trees, casting shadows on the pavement. You hear a bird chirping, a sound you hadn't noticed before. In that brief gap, something shifts. The weight of the day feels lighter. You breathe a little deeper. That moment wasn't planned, wasn't scheduled, but it was yours. It was a chance to reconnect with the world, to find beauty in the ordinary, to remember that you're alive. Think about your kitchen. You're waiting for the coffee to brew, the soft gurgle filling the quiet. It's just a minute or two, a sliver of time between tasks. You could scroll through your phone, check notifications, fill the gap with noise. But what if you didn't? What if you stood there, listening to the sound, feeling the warmth of the mug in your hands? What if you let your mind wander, not to worries or plans, but to a memory, a dream, a fleeting thought? In that small gap, you might find a spark of creativity, a moment of gratitude, a whisper of who you are beneath the rush. That's the power of these moments. They're not empty. They're full of possibility. Now imagine you're in a meeting. Someone's talking, and there's a pause before you respond. It's brief, just a second or two, but it's there. Instead of rushing to fill it with words, you let it linger. You listen, really listen to what was said. You notice the tone of their voice, the meaning behind their words. In that gap, you find clarity. Your response becomes thoughtful, not reactive. That tiny moment of stillness changes the conversation, deepens the connection, makes you present in a way you might not have been. These gaps are where understanding grows, where relationships strengthen, where you show up fully as yourself. Let's talk about the moments you feel stuck. You're waiting in line at the grocery store, the minutes dragging on. Your instinct is to pull out your phone, to distract yourself, to make the time pass faster. But what if you stayed present instead? What if you looked around, noticed the people nearby, the small details of the world? Maybe you see a tired cashier and offer a smile. Maybe you overhear a child's laugh and remember your own joy. These gaps, these in-between moments, are chances to reconnect with the world, to find humanity in the everyday, to remind yourself that you're part of something bigger. Consider the end of your day. You're lying in bed, the house quiet, the world slowing down. Your mind wants to replay the day's mistakes, the tasks left undone, the worries for tomorrow. But there's a gap there, a moment before sleep claims you. What if you used it to reflect, not on what went wrong, but on what went right? A kind word you shared, a task you completed, a moment you felt alive. That gap becomes a sanctuary, a place to find gratitude, to let go of the day's weight, to prepare your heart for tomorrow. It's small, but it's powerful. It's a chance to end the day with peace. Think about the times you felt overwhelmed. Life feels like a race you can't win, a list of demands you can't meet. But even in the busiest days, there are gaps. The moment you step outside for fresh air, the pause while you wait for a friend, the quiet as you sip your tea. These moments are your reset button. They don't solve everything, but they give you space to breathe, to recenter, to find the strength to keep going. You don't need hours of free time to find peace. You just need to notice the gaps that are already there, waiting for you to step into them. Let's explore creativity in these moments. You're waiting for a friend at a cafe, a few minutes to spare. Your mind is free, unburdened by tasks. In that gap, an idea sparks, a solution to a problem you've been wrestling with, a dream you'd forgotten. a story you want to tell. These fleeting moments of stillness are where your mind roams, where connections form, where inspiration finds you. Artists, writers, thinkers know the power of these gaps. They don't force creativity, they let it emerge in the quiet spaces. You have that same power. You don't need a perfect setting or endless time. You just need to be open to the gaps. Now picture the people who inspire you, the ones who seem calm, grounded, present. They're not always the busiest or the loudest. They're the ones who know how to pause, who find meaning in the small moments. They notice the gaps and use them to reflect, to connect, to grow. You can be that person too. It doesn't take grand gestures or dramatic changes. It takes noticing the moments already woven into your day, the tiny spaces where you can choose to be fully present, fully yourself. Let's talk about fear, because sometimes these gaps can feel unsettling. When you're alone with your thoughts, without distractions, the quiet can bring up doubts, worries, questions. What if you're not doing enough? What if you're falling behind? But those gaps are also where you face those fears, where you find the courage to keep going. In the stillness, you hear your own voice, the one that knows you're enough, that you're capable, that you're on your way. The gaps aren't empty. They're where you find the strength to move forward. Consider the stories that move you, the ones that stay with you, that make you feel something deep inside. They're often about ordinary people finding meaning in ordinary moments. The parent who pauses to listen to their child, the friend who stops to help a stranger, the moment of stillness that changes everything. Those stories resonate because they remind you of your own power, your own ability to find meaning in the gaps. Your life is full of those moments waiting for you to claim them, to make them matter. Think about the world around you. It's loud, demanding, always moving, but it's also full of beauty if you know where to look. The gaps in your day are where you find it. The way the light hits your window in the morning, the sound of rain as you wait under an awning, the smile of a stranger as you pass by. These moments don't demand your attention, they invite it. They ask you to pause, to notice, to be part of the world in a way that fills your heart. Let's address the pressure to be productive. Society tells you to fill every second, to make every moment count, but not every moment needs to be filled with action. The gaps, the pauses, the moments of nothing are just as important. They're where you recharge, where you find balance, where you remember why you're doing all this in the first place. You don't need to justify those moments. You don't need to make them productive. You just need to let them be, to let them nourish you. Now imagine your future self. Years from now, you're looking back on your life. The moments that stand out aren't the ones where you were busiest, where you checked off every task. They're the moments when you paused, when you noticed, when you let yourself feel. The gap where you saw a sunset and felt alive. The moment you listened to a friend and felt connected. The pause where you found clarity. Those gaps are what make your life rich, what make it yours. So here you are, in the middle of your busy life. The world is rushing by, and you're trying to keep up. But you don't have to fill every moment. You don't have to chase every second. The gaps are there, waiting for you. The pause before you speak, the wait for the train, the quiet of the night. They're small, but they're powerful. They're yours. Step into them, breathe, notice. Let them remind you who you are, what you love, what makes you alive. The gaps of time are where you find yourself, where you find the world, where you find the courage to keep going.